Hey folks, Matt with Bass Talk Live here. Before we get into today's episode, which is Charlie Hartley live from the water down in Florida, I wanted to take a second and ask for some help. The Best on Tour awards are currently going on right now, and BTL is up for the best podcast up against two very formidable opponents, Mercer and Bass After Dark. If you have some time, click on the link in the description of this show or go to bestontour.net and click on the Best on Tour Awards and vote for BTL for the best podcast. All right, let's get to Charlie. This is the 21st season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guy Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. I made it one day with the new intro music. We got enough comments, DMs, and feedback that we're back to the old standard. It's one of those dart if you do, dart if you don't things. I might continue to mess with it, but I guess this is officially the BTL intro music. Listen, I was also going to start out this morning with a coffee, and then I realized who we had on as a guest today, and I realized I don't know if that's enough energy. So I actually had an Alani to keep up with today's guest. Every once in a while, about every couple months, we have one of BTL favorites, Charlie Hartley, on the show. And he has since made his annual pilgrimage from the Midwest, Ohio, where he is a mogul in the sign industry, down to his winter haunts in Florida. And we also figured out how to get Charlie Hartley live on the water. What's up, Charlie?
Cheers, my friend, to a good coffee.
It is. It is a fantastic morning. Now, are you able to say like where you are? Because it looks like an absolutely gorgeous day in the Sunshine State.
Yes, I'm on public waters that I don't have to keep secret. I'm actually on our first venue for the first Bass Opens in Division I on the Kissimmee chain. I'm on West Lake Toho, and I'm near the south end of the lake. I've got a little bone to pick with these fish. Yesterday afternoon, they really made me mad, and we can talk about that later. But first of all, the fans want to know more about Matt. I mean, you've got married, you've had a honeymoon, and we have not heard many details at all. Before I left home, all my weekend buddies were like, "Have you talked to Pangarax since he got married? Have you talked to Nature Boy? What's he like now when he's married?" So tell us a little about the wedding and the honeymoon. I saw a little on social media. It looked like it was a great day.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. Everything is good. It's still a little, to use a Jeffries term, discombobulated at this time because she is still working down in Fort Worth right now and doesn't officially move up here until January. So we kind of do this thing where I go down there for a couple days. She's at the house right now. It was amazing. Had a great dinner. We actually put up the Christmas tree. So I went to Jeffrey's last week, and we're both very festive individuals, Charlie. So I had the Christmas tree in the living room last week, but it just felt like it was a week too early. So when I went to Jeffrey's, it was dark and like half the neighborhood was already lit up. And I said, that's all I needed to know. So last night we watched a Hallmark movie called Becoming Santa, about a toy maker. A Hallmark's about a toy maker who falls madly in love with this lovely lady who happens to be the daughter of Santa Claus. And then she takes him back to the North Pole, and he finds out that he's next in line. We did that while we put up the Christmas tree.
Spoiler alert. Right.
The Christmas tree, the garland, all of that stuff. So very festive already in the Christmas spirit. We actually did the honeymoon in Florida over at St. Pete. There's a place, a pink hotel. It's called the Don Cesar. Are you familiar with that, Charlie?
No, but it sounds wonderful.
It's over in Paso Grill. It's this big pink hotel. So we were supposed to go. With a hurricane hit. So we were unable to do that. Like I said, no problem. We pivoted. Our thoughts and prayers were with them. We weren't bummed out at all. Last minute trip down to Florida. We ended up spending most of the time watching people fish off the jetty for sharks. But it was a great time. But how long have you been down in Florida, Mr. Hartley?
Only about a week. I timed it perfectly. When you saw, if y'all watched the last EQ at Okeechobee, they were hit by a cold front. We drove in on that cold front. Everyone blamed us like they always do from bringing the cold from up north. But since then, it has been gorgeous every day. I usually wait for bad weather or cold weather to get my honeydew list done down here. And it's been so gorgeous. Tracy has not seen much of me, but we actually did the same thing yesterday. I gave her the afternoon to get the decorations out, even though it seems too early to me also. Everyone in our neighborhood is decorating. So I was on a ladder hanging garlands and things like that too. But only for a few hours. And Tracy and I have discovered after 30 years, we know this, we don't do anything very well together. We love each other. We love being together. But when we try to do a project together, we have different goals, and I got a list, and I'm watching my watch, and she's turning it, and it never ends up as festive as it should. But we got the house decorated, and the weather's been improving every day. She's been spoiling me rotten, letting me fish dark to dark, making me sandwiches, making sure the freezer's stocked with ice and cold beverages for when I need to stock the boat in the morning, making sure when I come home I have a dinner fit for a king. But only been here a week, but have visited at least 8 different waterways, and I have not caught a proper Florida bass. I've caught probably 200 Florida bass in a week, but I have not caught a 6+, and I'm waiting for a proper Florida bass to start posting on Instagram. But probably the funnest thing down here after being up north in the fall is the variety of fishing. By the time I leave here late spring, I've had enough of the grass and this type of fishing. But when you first get down here, I can't wait to show you all the different rods on the deck. You can catch fish down here from a drop shot and a minnow to a Carolina rig to a topwater to a prop bait to a chatterbait to swim jig, jerk bait, spinner bait. Literally have caught fish on everything you could think of. Senko, fluke, flipping. That's probably the coolest thing down here is just you can pick up any rod and find a place to do that down here.
Now, let me get your take. You mentioned it. You mentioned all these techniques, and the Bassmaster EQ just went down on Okeechobee. We got Austin Cranford, who's going to be in studio live later this week, realize his dream, 30 years old, newborn daughter, goes out, makes the Elite Series, his lifeline. We had Tristan McCormick on with this shaved head, Michael Neal and Russ Lane shit. You saw Russ Lane popping the champagne bottles back on the Elite Series there, but we'll go there. I want to get your take on this because there was a lot of chatter on the social media, both positive and shockingly negative, of how that tournament went down on Okeechobee, primarily the canal fishing with the forward-facing sonar. There was some badass pencil reed flipping and big fish wrestling out of there, but kind of what were your thoughts on that tournament and watching it, and how tough does Florida get when you have low water like there was on Okeechobee, and then you combine it with the, what do they call it? What's falling out of the trees when it hits 35 down there?
The armadillos.
The iguanas, not the armadillos. Yeah. Armadillos are down here, Charlie, in Oklahoma. The iguanas are falling out of the trees. I thought it was awesome to watch those guys figure out how to catch the most finicky bass in the lake.
Yep, it was a unique situation. It was not only the cold front, it's Lake Okeechobee and the situation Lake Okeechobee's dealing with. I resorted to very similar tactics. When I first got here, I knew I couldn't go out in shallow water and get those fish to bite or chase, and I ran straight to the canals. And the cool thing about having experience down here is I know after a severe cold front like that, it really narrows down your options. And I had one of my best days since I've been here directly after that cold front. Now, like they say, the second and third day after a cold front are sometimes worse, and they were. That's when the wind quits blowing, the sun gets straight up, it's cold, and now anytime you cast, you see them spook just because the lure flew over their head. But it was really neat to watch the breakdown, and there were people that did well with and without forward facing. It was so cool during live, and you know I'm a junkie. I watch every minute of it. Can't wait to go back to watching the team event and fishing when we're done here. But even Russ Lane was catching them old school, flipping and chatterbait, and he turned his trolling motor out to the right in the canal, and he goes, "There's one," and he caught it, and he looked at the screen, and he goes, "See, old farts can do that too." I just thought that was so cool that he incorporated it into his game, but it didn't define his game. So I am very excited about the next year with it being 50% with and 50% without. Not because I'm against it. Again, I am not against forward facing. I'm older. I don't care if those kids win with forward facing. If that's what they enjoy, that's what they enjoy. But somehow in fishing, things always take care of themselves. And this forward facing was concerning me. It was dominating. And guess what? Guess what? Somehow it's all going to take care of itself. We had a lot of tournaments won this year without it, and now they're altering the format some to try to control it and buffer it some. So I think it's a really neat time. I know it's not great to the casual observer because the rules keep changing, but we're going through a transition with this technology, and I'm glad to see we're responding to it and not just turning a blind eye to it. But Matt, I couldn't write a better script. The first open is on a venue I have a house on, and there's no forward facing sonar. And I'm not saying I'm going to win the tournament, but if I had to write the script, I'd put the first tournament in January on the Kissimmee chain with no forward facing sonar.
There's the schedule right now. So they came out with the schedule. It's four in each division like it was. They kind of alternate with and without based on it. But are you in for all 8 again, Charlie?
I am. Last year after the first couple in Division 2, I was so far out I quit fishing them. But I'm going to hedge my bets, fish the first couple in each division, and hopefully I'm doing well enough in both of them to continue through all 8. Otherwise, maybe after 2 or 3 in each division, I'm going to make a decision that I don't need to go there.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. There's no way that August 20th through 22nd you will not be launching your boat on Lake Erie out of Buffalo trying to catch a 25-pound bag of small jaws.
Buddy, when I won the points in the Northern Everstarts, Buffalo was on our schedule, which are now the Toyotas, and I have some history there, and I'm a Great Lakes fisherman, and you better believe I'll be there. Anyway, yes, I put the deposits in on all of them. It's just going to be an exciting year. I don't love the travel anymore. It's hard for me to leave Paradise to go to Sam Rayburn and sit in a cabin when it's 20 degrees and we fish one day. That was so...
We'll get 3 in this year.
It was so mentally depressing last year, Matt, when you're traveling alone and you get a couple days practice and then they cancel 2 tournament days. You're sitting in a cabin twiddling your thumbs saying,
"Come on, Charlie, you could have called me and Matt Steffen and Miles Berghoff up and come over and brought a couple of ice cold.
I don't remember my phone ringing.
We didn't know you were sitting. Come on, Charlie. We had ice cold ones. You did. We could have sat around.
I'm just kidding. You just question your sanity when you're in there.
I know. I hear you. Yep, I will make a prediction right now. Charlie Hartley will finish in the top 10 of the EQs in the first division, Division 1. Kissimmee, Lake Eufaula, Alabama, Lake Norman, North Carolina, and Lake Erie, Buffalo, New York. Charlie, I think that you are due for a renaissance comeback for the ages in 2026.
I wish my talent matched your predictions, but I will tell you this, over my 35 plus years of BASS competition and FLW competition, I have top 10s, multiple top 10s at every one of those venues you listed. So
exactly.
I certainly have the experience.
And no scope on Lake Norman either.
I understand perfectly.
Wait,
I believe me. I've studied this.
Didn't we have an open there a couple years ago where you absolutely laid the wood to them with a big string and maybe something that hops along the bottom?
And I years ago in a bass tour there, I had a top 5 or 6 in the snow, dude, which is a different time of the year. But yes, I've had some good, at all those venues. History is history, though. You can't dwell in the past. It's what you do tomorrow. But yes, you're getting me excited for the opens, and I can't wait to see you. What are you fishing? Just Division 2?
Yeah, I'm fishing Division 2, which is Rayburn with scope, Grand without scope. There, I'll tell you what, that end of April on Grand could be. It could be awesome, Charlie. You could have 4 or 5 things. You could have post-spawn fish. You could have fish on beds. You could have high water where we're wrenching them out of the willows. You could have a crankbait bite on secondary stuff. It could go down from up the river all the way down to where you're fishing with inside of the dam. That one is going to be an awesome tournament there. Then Kentucky Barkley has my number. Usually I'm like, I don't like that lake. I fished 3 tournaments. You learned from it last
year. You learned from it last year.
I know, but you know those lakes that listen, I am considering reaching out to maybe a sports psychologist in the type of it. No, I'm serious. I want your opinion on this because you're a positive guy. But when I saw that change from Pickwick to Kentucky, it is just that lake that I know is awesome, that I know has a smallmouth, I know has a largemouth. It fishes big. It's a historic tournament lake over the course of the entire history. It's gone up, it's gone down, but I've got a mental block, and I know it's a mental block. So maybe if I get a little mental work done there, I can go into that with a more positive attitude. What are your thoughts on that?
Fishing is 90% confidence, and if talking to a shrink will make you more confident,
sports psychologist, not.
I'm sorry. A sports. That's right. You're not allowed to, politically correct. When I was young, they called on that.
And then hear me out on this one. So June 18th through 20th, the Upper Mississippi. Charlie, I've talked about this a little bit on the show, but I don't think a lot of people actually realize this. I started my first tournament was with Bob Evans. The guy, not the guy who started the restaurant, but Bob Evans youth tournament. I was 13 years old on Lake Shelbyville. I am now 41 years old.
I actually know him. I actually know that Bob Evans.
Out of Illinois?
Go ahead.
Wait, you know Bob Evans, the restaurant guy, or the guy out of Illinois?
No, the guy, the fisherman. Yes, sir.
Wait, you really do? Out of Congerville, Illinois?
Go ahead. I'll tell you later.
Okay, yeah, we got to tell it. So I'm just saying I fished a lot of tournaments, front, back, north, south, east, west. I have never weighed in a hollow-bodied frogfish in a tournament, Charlie. Never. I think that changes June 18th through 20th, Upper Mississippi River.
Yeah, I can help you there. I've done well there without a frog. I'm not saying that a frog isn't a great option, but I have done there bucking the trend. But yes, I'm going to make a prediction that Matt Pangerak's going to finish in the top 10 in Division 2 in the Bass Opens, and we're going to go room together in the last 3 EQs. How's that sound?
I love it. I'm all in on it. We have to throw Blake and Matt Steffen in because they're going to make it too.
As long as they can put up with me.
I'm sure they can. I've stayed at your house. You're very easy to. The only problem is you get up at 3, so you can do work from 3 to 6, so you can be on the water at first light. That's not a joke either.
No, and that's an issue with many roommates. Let me tell you. That's why I usually room alone. Anyway, here I thought we wouldn't have anything to talk about.
No, we got a ton. So the other thing that's going on, Charlie, I wanted to pick your brain on this. We're talking about roommates and fishing together and all that. So the MLB MLF, the final team series of the year, is on. I am unabashedly a team series fan. I love watching the guys, the odd pairings, the great pairings. And it occurred to me, like, who was it when you were up north and you flew them in and picked them up straight from the airport and then left your boat tied up to the dock, dropped them off at the airport? Who? That was one of your long...
Terry Seagraves.
Terry Seagraves. Yep. So here's what I want, Charlie. I want, if you were to fish a team series, and I know there's also a $5,000 team series that's kicking off this year. A lot of kind of hoopla and excitement kind of surrounding that. I think they're kicking off with 2 in Florida, believe it or not. If you were to pick over the course of your entire career, anglers that are still with us, anglers that aren't with us anymore, anglers that fish tournaments, that didn't fish tournaments, but if you were to fish a high-end team series on performance and enjoyment level, give me, and I know I'm giving you a free pass on this. I know don't want to leave anybody out. Give me your top 3 guys that you would want to fish with. You, Charlie Hartley.
Sentimentally or competitively?
Fair game, both.
See that? You know what I'm saying? That's a tough. There are so
I know
many,
it is, but I would love to hear.
I'm afraid at my age, I have lost some great fishing buddies. Not all of my. When we were young, we played pretty hard, and not all my buddies are still around hard, like Charlie. I am. And sentimentally, there's a couple guys that are no longer with us that I would love to fish another tournament with, that I used to fish tournaments with. My buddy Tommy Thompson, my buddy Tom May, my buddy John Stiles, who taught me a lot about fishing. But that's sentimentally. Competitive wise, I would want some young juice in the boat to complement my experience. And one of my favorite young mentors' name is Jeremy Reese. He is a quality individual and an incredible fisherman. He's won the points twice in the Lake Erie Challenge Division. So Jeremy Reese, competitive-wise and friendship-wise and trust-wise, he's the kind of guy you can tell where your spot is and you'll never see him there fishing against you. Yep. Another one would be, and I'm sorry if an airboat's getting ready to go
I love
by.
it. It's called ambience.
All right. Another one would be Steve Clapper.
Oh yeah. I forgot about him. I thought, that's a shoe-in. You and Clapper are Erie legends. Now, he's a little bit more of an Erie legend than you. I'll just say that right out. You're both Erie legends, but Clapper's the Erie king. Always will be, always has been.
Yes, and since he retired from tournament fishing, that's not possible, so that even makes it more so. Last time I fished, we fished 2 or 3 tournaments together in our lives. We fished together 100 times. But every time I've been in a boat with him, magic happens, and it's usually because of his experience and knowledge. And then, one that's just a fantasy is I've always wanted to fish in a tournament or just fish with Kevin Van Dam, just because I'm enamored with him. He's, that's my pro crush is Kevin Van Dam.
You've never been in the boat with Kevin Van Dam.
We've stood on a deck together, but never went fishing.
Guys, here's what I want to do. The BTL fan base, the BTL listeners have an extreme pull in the professional fishing industry.
Don't put Kevin in that position.
Here, watch this. I'm going to mute him right now. So Kevin has this new show called the KVD Experience. Look, Charlie, we can't hear you, Charlie. You're muted. You're muted on here. We need the BTL listeners to flood the KVD inbox with they want a KVD experience with the man, the myth, the legend, Charlie Hartley. I think we could make this happen. Wait, what's that? You back? Oh, you're back there.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't you guys bother Mr. Van Dam. Don't you?
So anyway, there's a good website, the KVD Experience. Go on there, say, Kevin, love the show, love the programming, but you're missing one thing, and it's Charlie Hartley. We need Charlie Hartley. I bet Kevin, he's not doing anything now. He'll travel down to Florida. He'll jump in the boat with you and film a KVD Experience.
I would never make him do that. Don't put any pressure on him. He is a very busy, important man, but that's funny. Yeah,
He's
no.
retired. He's going around fishing and having a good time now, Charlie.
He's a very important and busy man. Don't you bother him.
He films like 8 shows a year, and then he just travels around and goes to Lions games. That's all he does now.
Well, when you asked me that question, I had to brainstorm, and I you know me, what pops into my head comes out of my mouth, and that's exactly one of the ones that popped in my head. All my life, I've wanted to go fishing with Kevin Van Dam, but that's not something we're going to bother him with. But who wouldn't want to go fishing with Kevin Van Dam or Greg Hackney? Or I can name a list of fantasy guys I'd like to go spend a day in the boat with.
Have you heard my KVD story?
Yeah, but we didn't tell us again.
I mean, I've got it. I don't know if you could see it in the backdrop. Whoa. Something just happened.
We're back.
There he goes. He flips. Okay, so in the backdrop, right there, that's a picture of me and KVD in like 2010 on Ray Scott's private pond. Did we lose Charlie?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
I got bad feedback. I hope you're not getting it.
No, I'm not getting it at all. Do you still have bad feedback?
Nope, it went away. Thank you.
Okay. So that was a thing.
No, KVD. Yeah.
I had been with Mark in the Bass Zone for like a year and a half, 2 years. And I mean, I lucked into it. And we ended up going and filming some stuff for Quantum on Ray Scott's private pond in Alabama. And then it rained, so we weren't able to film. So Kevin said, who wants to go fishing? So everybody said, we all do. So there were 5 of us in the boat with Kevin. So 6 guys on Ray Scott's. I was in the back corner dragging a jig and caught an 8-pounder and got that photo with Kevin. Once in a lifetime experience.
Matt, do you know how many people dream of that? You have got to do some incredible things. Incredible. That is incredible. After I led the Classic, like the next morning, I wake up with tournament hangover, and Tracy, the phone rings at wherever they had us, the Hyatt or Four Seasons, in my room pretty early. And Tracy answers the phone and she goes, "It's Ray Scott on the phone."
Oh.
And I thought she was, BSing me, or one of my buddies. So I grabbed the phone, and I'll be damned, it's Ray Scott. And that's back when he didn't own Bass anymore. Jerry, he may have way back then.
2008, right?
Yeah. And he said to me, he goes,
ESPN,
son,
I believe.
Yeah, he goes, I watched, all the weigh-ins, watched all the live or whatever coverage we had back then. And he goes, you represent just what bass fishing should represent. The working man that did good and led the Classic. He goes, I'd like to extend an invitation to you to come fish my Lake of Presidents, or whatever he called that lake, his private lake. Anytime you want. Here's my number. You put it into your phone and call me, and you can come fish my lake when you're in the area. I was like, wow, unbelievable. And I never dialed that number.
Oh, come on, Charlie.
No, life got so busy, and I got into, we started traveling, and Tracy and I were on the road, and it was a pretty busy time right after you lead the Classic. I was picking up a boat, getting it wrapped, heading to the next tour event. It was, and never dialed that number, but actually got invited to fish that lake and got to speak to, the man himself called me. Woo!
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's good. There, I got it. I got it right there. You can see. I don't know if you can see the full thing right there. Oh, right there. Yeah, Bass Boss. I recommend everybody. Robert Boyle's book, The Inspiring Story of Ray Scott and the sport fishing industry that he created.
Fishing is great. I text you all the time, and I put up on social media. Bass fishing's great. You brought up, they interviewed you for the best moments ever in tournament fishing, and you brought up that Rick Clunn with Bill Clinton and Gerald Ford on the stage, and
George Bush.
George Bush. Thank you. One of the great Republican presidents. But
we stayed on. No politics, Charlie.
I don't mean that bad. It was an amazing.
I hear you.
It was an amazing moment, and all the negativity being thrown out there about bass fishing. Good God, look what you just said. You got to fish with Kevin Van Dam on Ray Scott's Lake. Hell, I led the Bassmasters Classic. Rick Clunn was on stage with 2 future presidents. You're right. This sport stinks. I'm floating around a lake in a beautiful bass boat, and I'm about to catch some fish. And you're right. Bass fishing's bad. Everything's broken. I say, well, I keep people keep saying bass is broken. Bass is broken. Now, bass ain't broken. Bass are the same fish that swim around the lily pads that did when I was born. Nothing's broken.
Just letting that sink in for a moment. That's a great. That's a great.
That was that awkward, that pregnant silence.
No. That's a great line. All right. You're not kidding, Charlie. I see some rods in the corner of the boat right there. I don't want to give anything away.
Oh, I do. I'll show everything.
Okay. If you'll show everything, well, I want to show.
Do you need to take a break? Don't you have to pay any bills?
No. Here's what we're gonna do.
Right.
We're gonna go another 20 minutes with you and not make you sit through 6 minutes of commercials, because that's 15, 20 casts. And I know last time you were itching to get back at it. I know you're doing everything in your power to stay in that seat and not be running around the boat because of how gorgeous today is. So we're going to go straight through and then give you an extra 6 minutes to fish, because I appreciate you doing this. But when you say that you text me almost every day, you're not kidding. And you text me a great litany of things. So I could show any of the baits that you've texted me. I'm not going to get. All right. The first thing that I really liked was last week you sent me this one, and that is as old school as it gets. That's about a 5.5 pounder with that little Mike McClellan get a limit
getter. Mike McClellan limit getter
spinner bait.
Golden Shiner. Oh, yes.
And that was the same day that I was out with Jody White, and then
that's right. You sent me a picture back. Yes.
And then you sent me another one. And that's got the old straight tail. How can I not? June bug worm in its mouth.
Florida
June bug
standard.
trick worm. Then you sent me one with the old KVD 1.5 black and chartreuse square bill in the corner of its jaw.
Ask Takahiro about a black and chartreuse square bill in Florida. Ask him how much money he's won on a black and chartreuse square bill. You know what I thought of the other day, and I'm going to give away a secret. Someone will make it and send it to me. How come we don't have a black and chartreuse chatterbait? If a black and chartreuse square bill is so good, how come we don't have, I don't mean black and chartreuse mixed. I mean black on the top, chartreuse. That would be a killer chatterbait, no doubt.
That would. Then you sent me one with the big flipping jig. This is all different days. Then you sent me one with the big flipping jig in the top of its head.
Yeah.
Then, I'm not going to show this one. I can't show that one. That's
a secret bait. Okay.
That's your little Florida trick.
Yeah, that one that you've been nice about keeping secret, and I told you not to do it on a spinning rod that burnt your ass.
Oh, dude, I lost like gigantors on it.
I told you throw it on a bait caster when you get out in the real
I was
world.
trying to catch 2 pounders. I didn't expect a frickin' 10 to come eat the thing, Charlie.
Okay,
I mean, dude, I cast it on the edge. The reeds, I'm not kidding. I mean, I'm sitting there. I'm just trying, because I had that good first day, and I'm just trying to get to 10 pounds to get the check and get out of Florida. And I cast that thing up to the edge, and I'm watching it go down, and the reeds 12 feet away shake. Like, I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, that might be like a nutria or a beaver. And all of a sudden, I mean, you could see the gleam in that fish's eyeball as it came out. And before I even set the hook, I turned around to my co-angler and I said, I'll use better language. I said, I am so screwed. And then I reeled
Someone warned me about this.
And that sucker was 10 feet deep in hydrilla before I even knew what happened. And I mean, it was like taking a BB gun to try to kill a grizzly bear with. And I said, well, now I know why Charlie frickin' rainbow cast that on 20-pound test at a 7.6 flip stick.
Yep. You wouldn't believe how many pros have texted me on the way home. Thanks for showing me that trick. It got me paid. And man, when you need a bite, that'll get you paid. Thanks for keeping it secret. But yesterday, maybe the chat can help me. Yesterday, they really made me mad on a frog.
Okay.
I've caught a lot of fish on a frog, and
Now that
that
looks like Ish's fat frog right there.
That's old Ish's fat frog when he
That's a
was with.
snag proof.
Yep, correct. All right, and I had another frog on yesterday, one that is suggested by a. Let's see, how can I put this nicely? He is a commentator on Major League Fishing with long hair, and he lives down here. Okay.
Okay. JT
And
Kenny's
he
frog.
always talks about a frog on all his shows down here. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try that frog. So I bought a couple before I came down. Well, I put that thing on yesterday afternoon, and we have got a really unique situation on Toho. We have some, what do they call it? What's the little stuff that floats? Duckweed. We got a bunch of duckweed wedged backed up into areas, and it's different than the little duckweed you have up north. This stuff's pretty thick, and it even gets a red color to it. But man, they're under it. I made a cast over top of it and saw a couple spooks, so I grabbed that frog, and I had at least 6 to 8 big ones school me. I mean, they wanted it. And I mean, a couple of them, I got to come back a second time. And I'll admit once or twice, I may have pulled the trigger too quick. But after that, I let them eat it. And daggone it, I didn't land any of them. And it was a combination of things, I think. First of all, that frog has an enormous hook on it. So it's hard to drive that hook. And then secondly, it's the crap I'm in that they're pulling it down in is absorbing a bunch of my, I've never caught frogfish out of stuff this thick.
So
So
by the
it's
time
starting to make more sense to me why Jordan Lee was throwing like an 8-foot flipping stick. So
what do you throw?
well, I'm going back today with heavier crap. That's what I do when fish piss me off. I go back. I'll let them rest one night, and I'll come back today.
Wait, so know where giants are on a frog, and you've been able to sit for 36 minutes without fidgeting?
It's mostly afternoon bite, so I'm not worried. Not worried at all. And there's not another boat on the lake. So I'm going to let them rest till afternoon. But I'll tell you what, when I throw that frog in there this time, I'm going to show them who's boss. Now, I will admit the rod I was throwing had a little bit too soft of a tip. It's a great one for open water. It's a great one for casting accuracy. And I've caught plenty of frogfish on it. But this is, jungle situation. And when you saw what Jordan Lee did to him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it took everything his little ass had to get him, So I'm going back, I did some push-ups last night. I'm going back this morning. Then, of course, the other one they're finally starting to let loose on is the prop bait.
All right, walk us through how you do that. I know everybody wants to show it. You showed it before. I don't think you have ever actually gone through when you get a torpedo. That is a heading, not a tiny torpedo, a heading torpedo.
Baby torpedo.
A baby torpedo. What do you do to sauce that up, Charlie? Are we putting split rings on it? It looks like you put a feather treble on the back. It looks like what are you doing out of the package for your torpedo? There's literally no one in the country who is more of an authority and has caught more fish on a baby torpedo in the world than you, Charlie.
That might be accurate if that's something to blow your horn about. But yes, I definitely split out. I change out to those owner super or hyper.
Show us the bait again. Talk about it while you show the bait, if you don't mind.
I switch out to the hyper owner. I'll hook myself because I'm so nervous talking. The hyper owner split rings. Yep. I go to a Gamakatsu short shank number 4 round band up front.
Okay.
I use a owner feathered treble number 4 on the back.
Okay.
Again, the hyper split O-ring up here. On the nose. The one of the real tricks is that back hook is just screwed in through that prop, and it will back out on you. They do not secure that. So every one I get brand new, I back that screw eye out of the back. I put epoxy on it, and then I put it back in, making sure that I leave just enough gap for the prop to still spin. And you always want your hook tie to be vertical. Same with the one on the belly. It's got to be in line with the way you're working the bait.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to see if this works. So over your right shoulder, It looks like you've got yep, right there.
See?
Yep. Now don't move your camera, but if there's any way you can stand up on the back deck and make a cast with that torpedo and show us how you work it.
Well, hell, I caught one about 10 feet from here earlier.
That would be absolutely phenomenal.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be pretty cool.
All right, where do I need to throw?
Yep, right there. That's perfect. We'll be able to see it. Nope, a little farther than that. You got to go farther than that, Charlie.
Further?
Yep. Perfect. All right, now we're going to watch how you work it. Yep, 100%. This is working perfect. Twitch, pause. Twitch, pause. Pretty aggressive twitch.
Oh, super aggressive with the rod down. You want the water to shower up in front of it.
Yeah, we got great audio. We can hear you because there's no wind, so you can walk us through this, Charlie. Make a couple casts. See if you can't put one in the box on BTL.
The secret is to make the water droplets land in front of it.
Look at that. Right on the edge of that hyacinth. It's a hyacinth mat, right, Charlie?
Those are spattle.
Folks, I'd like to take this opportunity. Right now on BTL, we have an airboat going past with Charlie Hartley in Florida throwing a torpedo. There's a competition going on bestontour.net for the best podcast right now, and you can vote for BTL in that. It's bestontour.net/BTL. If you enjoyed what you just saw right there from Charlie Hartley, I would greatly appreciate it.
I voted every day for you, buddy.
You can only vote once, I believe.
I voted for you every day.
You wouldn't believe way more aggressively than I thought you would, Charlie.
Oh no, I always say they may not bite it, but they know it was there. I mean, I rip it. I mean, I literally rip it. Yes, sir.
Why the torpedo? Mike's kind of alluding to this. Why the torpedo and not the Florida standard devil's horse?
You cannot rip the devil's horse like that. You cannot fish it as aggressively. You literally twitch it. You barely move it to make its little prop spin. It's much more subtle. This is, I can cover water with this thing. I mean, you saw how fast I ripped that. I can throw it to targets, rip, stop, rip, stop, rip, done. Next target.
And do they explode on it, or do they suck it under like a mayfly, or is it dependent on the day?
No two bites are ever alike. That's the fun part. But some days, when they're really, what they do one day, they usually do the most of that day or that hour. One of the telltale bites is they show themselves before they eat it. One of their favorite things to do is to send up one or two toilet flushes where you know they're under it. They just have not, they're still checking it out. And literally, I've had them do such a toilet flush under it that my bait spins 360 degrees and spins back, and they didn't touch it. They literally are examining it. And then usually the next twitch, after you get that toilet flush, you better close your eyes, because he has decided the next time it does that, he's going to take it from you.
So you said that's a baby torpedo.
Yep.
So that's 2.5 inches.
2.5 inches, 3/8 ounce. It casts. I know what it is. It casts fantastic. I fish it on 20-pound mono, and amazingly, if they get it inside their mouth, because there's so much for that bait to get hung on while you're fighting them. If some of it's hanging outside their mouth, you know, there's pads, there's reeds that they can get stuck on. But when that thing's inside their mouth with that 20-pound mono, it's hard to lose one. I mean, they got a mouthful of hooks, and your mono's got stretch. You just got to keep pulling and going. I weighed a 915 on that in an FLW.
Is that the color right there?
My favorite is that natural brim, but I catch them on a lot of chromes too. I like the chromes.
All right. I know this isn't Thursday, but for those who are interested, and I have never pumped this outside of a Thursday, but if you use code capital BTL25 at LureNet, I mean, there's $6.99 on it for this exact one. You can save 15% off. So if you're looking at getting into the baby torpedo game, that'll save you a little bit of money there. Thank you. That is the definition of giving up the juice, Charlie.
At this point in my career, I'm not keeping secrets. I'm happy to share them. It's taken me years to perfect ways to catch fish consistently, and I'm happy to pass them on.
All right, you got anything else there before we let you actually go to your frog haunt that you want to?
I just want to thank you and thank everyone for listening and for even caring what I'm doing and for having me on, Matt. And I want to wish everyone, we'll make this our first holiday show of the year since we talked about decorating. I want everyone to have a great holiday, be thankful that we live in this great country and we get to pursue our passions, limited only by our own desire. God bless America and God bless bass fishing.
Send me a picture when one of them eights eats that JT Ketty frog and you smoke them on the 8-footer and it's just pegged right through the top of the mouth, Charlie.
You're gonna get sick of how many pictures I'm gonna send you.
You sent me a picture of was that a rocket or was that something from the space?
Yes.
station?
Yeah, no, that's the other cool thing here. I gotta tell that real quick. My dad called to check on me, and later in the day, I looked down at my phone and he had text, and he goes, he's in Vegas. He lives in Vegas right now. And he goes, there's going to be a rocket taking off in 15 minutes. Well, luckily I had looked down at my phone and I'm like, how does he know that? And I look up in front of me and I'll be damned, there it was. And I took the picture and sent it to him. My dad is so smart. He goes, well, there you go.
Oh, now you're going to get twitchy because you never told the Bob Evans story.
Oh, it's all right. I just know him. He fished as a co-angler on some of the Everstarts and drew out with one of my best buddies when he made a top 10, and I got to follow him all the way around that day, and he told me all about himself and that he had a youth fishing club, and I got to meet him pretty well. Yep.
Yeah, he's probably one of the main reasons. He was with me. He literally volunteered when I was 13 years old to take a youth fishing, and I know you're big on that. You have what? Charlie's Angels? What do you call them?
No, that would be a problem. But I do have the Hartley's Hogs.
Ah, that's it. Hartley's Hogs.
Yeah, and the Walnut Springs Middle School Fishing Club, which I founded. God, it'd be over 50 years ago. I founded a middle school fishing club that's still in existence, and I still sponsor them. I buy them their jerseys, and I was a boat captain several times this year. And again, what's broken about fishing when these kids all want to go fishing? What's broken? I don't know.
Nothing. Well, hopefully nothing's broken when you lean into that 8-pounder today.
I can't wait till our paths cross again, Matt. I enjoy your company.
What's your prediction on big bass of the day? You got to post it on either your Instagram with just the weight under it, and then all our listeners can go there.
No
and
pressure,
see how
huh?
close,
Here
how,
I was
and
just
see how close fish. You get.
Okay, we'll go conservative. 612.
612. All right.
Yeah.
So
I know one of them I missed yesterday was bigger than that, but I'm hedging my bets.
How big?
When they come up on that frog like that, Matt, there's no telling. Yeah. Same thing with that torpedo. There's times when you don't know if you should set the hook or drop the rod and run.
Charlie _Hartley _Bass Pro on Instagram right there. Just a gripping, just a good grip and grin, just like that. Just like you post that, and then just the weight underneath it, and we'll see how close you get to 612.
Have a great holiday season, Mr. Pangarak. I can't wait to see.
Oh, if he's going to freeze right at the end, that's going to be perfect. He's gone. All right, there we go. That was the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Charlie Hartley. We're going to take a break and be back right after this BTL on a Tuesday. Now I'm all energetic and jacked up. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Before there were hashtags, there were handshakes and shared stories. They gave us confidence to make our first cast and chase our dreams. They taught us to fish, and in the process, taught us about life. They taught us that success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about lifting others up. The future isn't just about selling tackle. It's about 3 simple words. Let's go fishing. Here's to the original influencers.
I fish in some of the worst elements across the country. Spring. That's a giant, dude. Summer. Oh my gosh. Hi. Look at that thing. Winter. It's so cold. And fall. Got a big one. That's awesome.
Being comfortable and staying dry is the only option.
AFCO. Any fish, any water.
When I'm in a tournament, conditions are constantly changing and every second matters. With the Deep Dive app, I can instantly pull up all the current lake conditions all in one spot. So no more looking at weird government websites. In just one quick glance, I have water clarity, water level, wave forecast. It's all right there in the Deep Dive app. Download the Deep Dive app and get all the tools you need to put together an awesome tournament.
In 2023, we became a household name in the crappie fishing world thanks to Power Breaks, the game changer. Hey, bass fishing world, buckle up, because you're next. It's going to be fun. Welcome to the next evolution of our product line, Power Breaks Sidekick, designed to install right on your shallow water anchors. We are the first and only fishing brake company to offer a breakaway system. Just like with the Game Changer, the Power Breaks Sidekick has it as well. And it's not a matter of if you're going to need it, it's when. Power Breaks, the most durable fishing brakes available on the market today. Made right here in the USA with our rock-solid 2-year warranty. Hey, not all fishing brakes are built equally, and you owe it to yourself to find out why ours are different. Power Breaks Sidekick. Order yours today at mypowerbrakes.com. You'll be glad you did.
All right, welcome back, BTL on Tuesday. Live in studio, and I'm trying to get to the final EQ standings. Russ Lane will be on the show next week. Austin Cranford later this week. We got Frank on Thursday. Tonight, episode 2 of CTL Crappie Talk Live drops. We had really good feedback from the first episode. This one has, I'll show like one quick little video of what we're working on here. It is FFS centric. We're going to be doing some things that don't involve forward facing sonar, but you want to talk about like fish behavior, fish location. One of the cool things I've done with the My Captain app on Garmin is be able to like capture all of the actual screen recording. So like this is like a rather large crappie, and this will be in the episode that drops tonight. It's not a live episode, so what we're doing is every other week through February, like this will be like a fully rendered, recorded, edited show, kind of like a TV series, and then the following Tuesday we'll be in studio talking about it with Zeke Anderson. But here, watch this. There it is right there. There's the bait. There's the giant crappie. Here it comes. That's 4 foot under the surface. Boom. It's cool stuff. I really enjoy doing it. Not as much as Charlie Hartley enjoys being out there fishing. Charlie Hartley is a national treasure, but we'll kind of, as the dust settles on the EQ, we'll go back through and really dive into the lures. One of the things that I thought was really interesting was Robert G. Cool story with him. You know, I was fairly critical on BTL of allowing current Elite Series anglers in good standings, not the guys who had been bumped and were trying to requalify for the elites, but like guys who were in could just jump in the EQs, the 3 EQs at the end of the year, instead of qualifying for them in the top 50 through the opens. But that being said, one of the really cool stories was Robert G, who was trying to qualify for the Classic in his home state of Tennessee and hometown of Knoxville, you just don't think Florida and heavy metal in the same breath. And Robert G on live was in that canal stroking that big heavy metal spoon right there. And I thought that was super cool. It was a Dixie Jet Talon spoon, and you can see it's got the 3 sets of trebles on it there, and he caught a lot of his fish on it, which is really unique. And one of the things that I like to see, and you see, there was also minnows and jerk baits that came into play, some traditional, but one of the things I think you're going to see moving forward, and I have a lot of conversations with this of guys who've put different baits in front of thousands of fish, is more and more non-traditional methods to generate bites. Maybe it's traditional baits using non-traditional methods, non-traditional baits using traditional methods. They've got that 18-inch. There's like that I think it's a G crack, 18-inch. I'm not sure who makes it, but it's like that 18-inch worm that guys are Nico rigging. You've got, like I said, the full cast, the koike balls, the things like that. But then also just the big spoons, the giant minnows, the tiny stuff. I really it's really cool to be able to see how fish react to things that they're not accustomed to seeing, and then to watch the progression from see and eat to analyzing to kind of becoming conditioned to things. We see it in just cast and reel, non-traditional, non-forward facing baits all the time. Like, look at the Alabama rig and how effective it was. It still is effective, but not nearly as effective as it was in that 2011, 12, 13 timeframe when those fish hadn't seen it. We saw it with the Whopper Plopper in 2015 when it came out with Watson throwing it in the open on Table Rock. And that 15, 16, 17, like Chris Lane on Toledo Bend and some of the other plopper. And it's just not as effective as it was, but still effective. We saw it with Brett Height and Brian Thrift with the chatterbait. Now, obviously, that has kind of become a Cinco style bait, like a staple in the arsenal. But not winning absolutely everything originally when the Sluggo came out, like that was kind of the deal like that. There's all sorts of these baits, and we're seeing it with the forward facing baits now, particularly things. But I'll dive just to briefly touch on it. I think it has a lot to do, not so much visually, but with lateral line and vibration. Like if you go back to the Alabama rig, when a lot of guys were throwing that before, it was, you couldn't throw it in some, but in a lot of the team tournaments and stuff, there's that Flash Mob Junior with the blades on it was popular. The Hog Farmer was popular, but then, when the Hog Farmer came out with the 3 arms or the 7 arms or more blades or 2 blades on it, I think it changes the vibration of that bait. So visually it's familiar to him. It looks like baits, but I think that, and this is just me, I have absolutely no scientific proof on this. If there's someone that can prove me wrong, I'd be glad to. This is just stuff I think about late at night, is those fish become wary, or wary is not the right word, conditioned to the same lateral line vibrations. That's why it's a lot. If you watch, Van Damme when he fishes it, if you're, let's just take a trap in the grass, whether it's a red eye shad or a Bill Lewis or a Ruku shad or whatever it is, those are typically most effective. You rarely see traps just cast and reel, just all the same vibration. Now, like, you've got the red eye shad vibration, you've got it. It's the ripping, the pausing, the dropping, where it's something that's quick, where it's something that's non-replicable, that those fish don't immediately have some wary or some trigger sense in their head. I think it was the same with the A-rigs when you saw different wires, more configurations, bigger baits, smaller baits, the guys who continue to have success on it. You can watch the guys like Tactical Bassin is big on this. When that A-rig came out, they're talking about the hitches. When you hitch it, you're changing that vibration, and I think one of the reasons why the Cinco has and Nico rigs have remained so effective is as they fall and as you move them, your the vibration that you're imparting on the water to the lateral line of that fish is unique to your cadence. It's not the exact same thing as a wind-in bait. It's unique, and that uniqueness is what prohibits those fish from recognizing it as something that could be potentially dangerous to them. That's why I think the minnow is going to remain effective, whether you're using forward facing or not, because just like a wacky rig Cinco or a wacky rig trick worm or a Nico worm of any time, you are imparting the different action to it. So while yes, that, you know, if everyone's doing the same thing, but you're seeing like the different baits, the heavier heads, the lighter heads, the non-traditional baits, like a flutter spoon, I think you're going to see that as fish become more and more conditioned to the doom, 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 doom shake, and everyone's using the same minnows and the same jig heads and stuff. That spoon is creating a vibration that is irreplicable. Every time you stroke it, every time you hop it and pop it, that spoon is making a different vibration to those fish. I just think that it's really hard to replicate, you know, and you don't want to replicate it. It's new to those fish, and that's what makes them bite it. So all that was based on Robert G throwing a spoon. I know Cranford caught a couple on a spoon there. I think that's why jerkbait has been a lot, you know, super effective too. But you're also seeing like jerkbaits, like silent jerkbaits, you know, the different sizes of the mixed sticks, the way guys are do, and whether they're pausing them, the sinking jerkbaits, all sorts of stuff that are coming out on that. Yes, we're still working on the Fishing Chaos. I want to make sure everything is dialed in before that opens. I know it's supposed to open on October 15th. We are very close to that. I have a call in after this with Tom Brubaker for it. We're going to get that dialed in with 100% of the proceeds going to St. Jude. Also working on the Crappie Talk Live, all sorts of cool stuff going on BTL. And I think that's all we got for the show today. Big shout out to Charlie Hartley. For those who, well, most everyone knows Charlie Hartley now. Very difficult for him to sit still in one spot for that long when he knows where big fish are. So kudos, Charlie. Kicked ass on that. This has been another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. Same time, same place. Tomorrow, we'll talk to everyone then. See ya.